Welcome to the second episode of KHK. I'm King Kong, and today we have Necro. Say hi,
Hi.
and then we have Lycando
Hi, it's
and
me again.
our Mr. Hao,
Hi.
and we have a new member joining us today. We have Doctor Mala.
Hi.
Hi, Doctor Mala. Care to introduce yourself?
Uh, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a Mala.
Very
But
good.
they call me Dr. Mala.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Anyway, today we have a accumulation of the Game of Thrones of season finale, final episode of Game of Thrones ever until they come up with some dumb spin-off. So we thought we could react to that as well as the accumulation of the Avengers Endgame, another final movie in this series of movies that has been happening over 10 years. So, what are your thoughts on the season finale of Game of Thrones? I think Dr.
Let
Mala
me
has
just tell
tons of
myself
things
first.
to say.
I never watch it and I never will.
Yeah, so Necro has never watched it. So, can you share with us why you have never watched it
Uh,
and why you never will?
it's not my cup of tea. I watched the first episode before I did it. I don't like any of the characters. I don't feel like there's any merit that appeal to me, and so I'll never watch it. That's it.
Then what's your impression of Game of Thrones?
It's very sexual, very violent, very very epic, very long windows.
And that is a very perfect summary of what Game of Thrones is essentially about, anyway. So, okay, moving on.
Yeah, so Mala, what do you think about Game of Thrones? What do you think about the last season?
If you ask me like overall about Game of Thrones, I think you need to look past the sex and the pornography and the gory scenes, because I think they do have some merit in terms of the way they film it, the storyline, and how everything comes together. Yeah, so I think it is there's something behind all the gore and all the porn, or rather the sex, that draws people in.
I think a while back someone mentioned that the sex and porn and gore is what attracts people to Game of Thrones in the first place. Like why people are invested in it in the beginning. If it's not for the sex and the gore, nobody would have watched it.
That is what I say.
But I
that's why
believe for most of the general audience who are curious about the show, that is what draws them in the first place. But you also have another group of people who are those who read the books before and then were probably, curious about how the TV series will be adapted, which is probably the more hardcore fans.
So I think Game of Thrones has like had this terrible rating in the last season.
Yeah, for like the last two seasons, actually, the complaint that the quality of writing has gone downhill because it felt very rushed. Like they were trying to squeeze in as much content as possible in the span of like 6 or 7 episodes.
I read this article the other day that said that the reason why Game of Thrones is squeezed into only 6 episodes and only 2 final seasons is because people want to because it's because the producers of the show want to leave the show.
Yes, that is correct. They are moving on to make Star Wars in like 3 years.
Really? What Star Wars?
They are okay. So, what's his name? David. Okay, David Benioff is going to, I think, either write or direct the next trilogy of Star Wars movies for Disney. So
Really, there's a new trilogy of Star Wars movies. I
yes,
didn't even
yes,
know that.
there
What?
is
What?
going
Give no
there
fuck.
is going to be even though nothing is confirmed yet, something might change.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So basically, the rumor is that, or the speculation is that the reason why the last season, especially, has felt so rushed was because they were busy trying to wrap up and then move over to Disney, which probably explains a lot. But of course, this is just speculation, but it's quite obvious, I think.
Let's talk about the last episode of Game of Thrones.
Yes, yes.
So, what is the highlight moment for you?
The highlight moment for me is probably when Drogon melted the Iron Throne itself, because that made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Why is the moment that made absolutely no sense the highlight moment?
Because it is the most what the fuck moment
Most
of
ridiculous moment
yeah
because
of
the
Game
dragon
of
suddenly became very smart.
yeah,
Okay.
and
I was screaming the entire scene
and
for
anyway,
Drogo to eat Jon
Maybe
Snow. I was like, fucking eat him already, but it never happened.
maybe Bran controlled the dragon because
yeah,
he already has his own seat and doesn't need the Iron
Interesting.
Throne.
yeah, exactly. So he was like, screw it. I don't need the Iron Throne. I have my own wooden throne. Let's burn
I
it
brought
down.
my own seat.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, the most ridiculous moment was when Bran said something like, "Why else am I here?"
Yeah.
I was
So
like, "What the
basically,
fuck?
yeah.
How
Basically, so
arrogant can you be? I
the
thought you were
and,
supposed to be a
and
humble person."
and the best part was a few episodes earlier, he had declared that he didn't want anything to do with the Iron Throne, and then in the
Well,
finale itself,
he has nothing to do with the Iron Throne. That's kind of true, but it's just so ridiculous for someone who keeps saying like, we shouldn't do such things to say, why else do you think I'm here? It's like, what the fuck?
it was an extremely Deus Ex Machina moment. That because
Yeah.
no one else was worthy of taking the Iron Throne, they threw it to this kid who had no battle experience, no war experience, nothing, but was apparently able to take control of people. I think I'm not sure.
What else was ridiculous about that episode?
The way
Yeah.
Danny died.
Yeah,
The
Oh,
body was like
the,
floating halfway when she was
the
dying.
the entire scene had no emotion at all. It was so ridiculous. Was she floating? I don't know. But she was just stabbed with a little knife.
yeah, little dagger, and then like the blood was flowing out of her nose and her mouth, and then she just died right there and then.
Let's introduce a new member that we have here today, which is Ghost, right? And Ghost is a fan of the books but has not watched the show at all. So, what you have heard us, talk some nonsense about the final episode. What do you think about the ending where Sansa becomes a queen and
Jon Snow gets sent back to the Night
yeah,
Watch.
and Jon Snow gets sent back to the Night Watch. How do you think that gels with the books?
I think for the Jon Snow part, right, is to repeat what happened in the first book, lah, in a sense. I think they just have
Oh,
to go for that movement, lah. Like
so
what he
so
happened,
so.
right, he got sent, right,
Mhm. So are you
for
trying to say this is a part of George Lucas' master plan of
George
circles within
Lucas.
circles within
George
circles?
Lucas. Wait, George Lucas. Did you just say George
I'm
Lucas?
not sure George Lucas
Yeah,
is the
I did
right
say
person, but yeah, I guess
circles within circles within circles.
Why
like
why are
I mean
you
showing Sansa is like showing Caitlyn, lah. I think that's the comparison that the show
yeah,
writers are
yeah.
doing.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
trying to
that they
show.
really try to dress them up similarly.
Yeah. Though I'm not sure about sending the crippled to be king, do they like do they,
How do you think that gels with the law in the books?
I think Baratheon was quite a loser, so getting a cripple is not much different. Baratheon hurt himself, right? So he
Did he?
also
Oh yeah, he did. That's how he died, right?
because he did stupid things. So I think getting a cripple there is not much special. And I think that's what they were going for, lor.
Okay.
I feel like
Danny already said she died already from the start already. I mean, in the sense
But
that she died when she got sold off already. So in a sense, her dying is not much different.
I see. But we know that George R. R. Martin, he told them who will be king, which effectively means his plan all along was to get Bran to be the
but
king.
the journey to get there was probably much different in his head.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you think that will play out?
I think it plays out once they start making the prequels of this, of how Baratheon became king as well. It's not
Oh
much.
gosh, you think there will be a spin-off prequel?
No, there will definitely be a spin-off. That's what they're doing. They already said.
There is a spin-off coming. That's
Yeah,
why.
prequel spin-off.
That's why
I-
you get the
I
endings
thought
with
that
three
I thought
different
the
parts.
spin-off would be a sequel about the three different Starks, not about a prequel.
You can make a prequel like that, lah.
Oh
Easily.
god.
This is a cash cow. They will
Yeah, it's a
never
cash
stop
cow.
making movies about it.
Yeah, they just make nonsense. I mean, you guys might have only seen this the first time for this kind of big universe. outside of Star Wars aside, but this is very common. The TV shows, all these people like to do this.
Yeah, like Star Trek. How many generations of Star Trek is
Oh
there
no, Star
now?
Trek
A lot.
reboot.
Yeah,
Star
reboot.
Trek is all reboot, and the other ones are sequels, so it's not technically not the same.
I see. Okay. Anything else to add about this ridiculous final episode of Game of Thrones? How would you guys rate it?
3 or 4 out of 10.
3 or 4 out of 10. Okay.
I mean, like it looked nice. I mean, it was filmed. The cinematography was quite nice, but everything else was just problematic.
Okay. Where do you think Drogo has gone to now? I mean, he just flew off with a dead body.
That is a very good question.
Stay tuned for the next season.
Oh no! Stay tuned for the spin-off.
And my question, my next question is, what is the Night's Watch guarding now?
Anything else that comes through the wall.
Drogo, easy.
Yeah.
Okay, but they say he flew east. But okay, yeah. That's
The
like,
Night Watch
that-
cannot tell the direction. It's okay.
If we have learned from anything, is that the more recent seasons of Game of Thrones do not matter where the geography is.
right, yeah. That's one of the criticisms of the last three
The
seasons.
geography
which is
doesn't
the
matter anymore.
Yeah, which is people just teleport overnight.
Actually, I think besides the death of Danny, everything else was quite well done. Like the ending was quite nice because the way they filmed it was like they tied it back to season 1 when the season started. So I thought it's a very nice ending. Like John started the season by walking down the corridor in Winterfell, and now he's walking down the other corridor again. Yeah, so it's like you start where you ended.
It just reminded me of something, which is the scene about how Bran became king.
You throw him off a tower.
He became king by a vote, by a democratic vote,
Yes.
Yes.
which was really strange. Like, okay,
Why?
so here's what one of my friends told. Her review of this scene was basically the show makes no sense from a monarchy to a democracy in 1 minute.
This is a interesting point in political study. Kings have decided on this for years. That it's quite common. That this pseudo democratic, not democratic. It's not a new concept. That, as the French puts it, it's just there's like council of elders or whatnot choosing leaders whenever you win a war.
Yeah,
It's not alien in a sense.
So you're saying that it's not really a democratic process yet, since
I mean,
it's
democratic
chosen
from
by a group
our
of people.
current state that we understand that people get a choice, right? No, it's not lah. But having council of leaders and elders making decisions is relatively common lah.
I see.
Like when you win, the war. So if they ever make that prequel, right, they will probably do the same thing and choose Baratheon lah. Even though his reason is very cock lah.
Anyway, I just looked at the ratings for this episode. It's like really low. It's in fact the highest rating for season 8 is like comparable to the lowest rating for the rest of the seasons, which is quite sad.
But not unexpected.
I think you made a good point lah. It's like they were working towards this ending anyway. They want the thing to reverse the episode one. So that's why they just work towards it all. When you have that in mind, everything fall into place.
Everything backtracked from there.
Yeah, no, which makes sense. I actually like that kind of concept, but execution was just way too rushed. There was 6 episodes, and they tried to cram like 2 giant. Okay, technically one of them wasn't a battle; it was a slaughter. 1 giant battle and 1 slaughter into 6 episodes.
Wait, where was the giant battle? Oh right, the Night King.
Oh, totally forgot about it. Yeah, that's how memorable it was.
It was really strange. It just ended out of nowhere, so I didn't really see it as a battle. It was a slaughter, and then somebody died, and then it turned the other way immediately. So strange.
Yeah, I thought that all the Unsullied and the Dothraki were dead. But then suddenly there were a lot of
An
them.
entire army of them.
So when Dany was away, she only brought some of the men over. So they grew up, lor. The children grew up back at home.
Really? No way.
Time skip again.
But I don't know where you find so many eunuchs. That would be more amazing.
Yeah,
I think that's why I think that's why their population is very low.
Where does the replenishment come from?
Where the heck do you
Like
find
a-
so many eunuchs? What the
It's
hell?
like a secret stash of Unsullied somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, the eunuchs means there's a net loss of population somewhere, right? Where
Yeah.
do Unsullied come from?
Where do they keep growing, right? So what do you guys think the sequels will be about? I mean, we already heard that the prequels will probably be about the Baratheon and the Targaryens and how they come to get the throne, right? But what about the sequels?
It's
the
going to be
potential
about
sequels?
Jon Snow's adventures beyond the wall.
What is beyond the wall?
I have no idea. That's for them to figure out.
So the sequels are north, south, east, west.
Alright, yeah, that's true actually. It's north, south, east,
Drogon's
west.
point of view.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
yes, correct.
So we have Drogon in the east, we have Arya
Arya in the
west. Yeah.
Snow in
And
the
Bran in the
Jon-
south.
Then we have Jon Snow in the north. So
That's interesting. Conquer the world. The Starks conquer
so
the world.
you have four spin-off TV series or sequels, each with a compass point. And then for the grand finale, they will do a massive crossover of all the different series. And then they all come
Because they
together.
reach the end, right? Because the earth is round. So they reach the other end and then they meet up.
So they met on the other side of
They
the
will
earth.
all meet eventually. That is the secret. The grand finale, most epic crossover in history.
Speaking of grand finales, I realized that the new what's the name of the council? Small council. Somehow when did that guy become rich? The guy who is now the
The
master of coin.
Bronn, right? Sir Bronn of the Blackwater.
I was a bit confused. When
I
did he
don't. I think
become
they
rich?
just put him there for the sake of it.
Like suddenly he said like, oh, do we owe you any more debts? And he was like, oh no, I believe the debts have been paid off. I will continue to lend you money to support whatever. I was a bit confused. When did he become rich?
Tyrion owe him a lot of money for not killing him.
Oh, okay. So basically, the Lannister money is now transferred to him.
Essentially,
kind of.
but it was kind of like, oh yeah, he is a master of coin.
Yeah, exactly.
And he offered his swords to the kingdom. He was a sellsword.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, if there's nothing left to say about Game of Thrones,
Oh, have. The small council. Brand was asking that he was saying that we lack a master of whisperers,
yeah.
but Brand can see everything.
That is correct.
I didn't think of that, but that's funny.
A master of war as well, I believe.
No, didn't they? Oh no, right. The Digless dude was murdered. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
As
Okay,
in what they were missing
no,
was like a master of whisperers and master of war, but Bran himself is
There's a master of law also, is it?
yeah, they
war.
were missing three people. They were missing three
Yeah,
people.
a few
Yeah.
because like a lot of people had died, so they couldn't choose.
Okay, so let's move on to our next topic, which is uh what I would
Endgame.
call the nightmare that is Avengers Endgame, the slumber party that is Avengers Endgame. Surely, some people here have something different to say about it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. Fan service the movie was yeah. I actually enjoyed
Did
it a
you
lot.
just call it fan service the
Yes,
movie?
yes. I did call it fan service the movie. I believe it is very hard. It is very hard. That's what it is. It's a giant movie that is about fan service because you can see the way that people react. It's mostly about the fan service moments. So yeah, while it is I believe a very good movie on its own, it is also filled with fan service moments, and that is why I enjoyed it a lot. So much to the point that I went to see it twice.
Twice.
Yes.
I saw the movie twice as well. So once on my own and then once with some friends. At the end of the I mean, when I watched it the second time, my friend stood up and turned around and he said to me, "I can't believe that you sat through 3 hours of this again."
Yeah, the run time is a bit I guess it okay, ironically it doesn't dissuade people. I don't know, maybe some people are dissuaded by it, but for the most part, like I said, the fans I think actually wanted it to be 3 hours because there was no other way to like wrap everything up in maybe like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And yeah, like what a lot of people say, the final battle could have gone on for longer, but they were limited by time as well, I guess.
Again, Ghost is a avid comic book reader. So how does this differ from the comic book event of Thanos and his master plan?
His motivations are very different in the comic book. He's just those typical classic nine want to destroy the universe comic book villain. It's not as noble as the one that the movie has done. So it is a lot more understandable in the comic compared to this where they want to reference all 22 movies in one movie.
I can't recall. Have you watched Avengers Endgame?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. So so will you say that the new Thanos is more resemblant of the comic book Thanos?
Um, is there's a he likes death. That's the only thing that is similar. He wants the stones to achieve it, but his motivations for this one is a lot better because there's some sense to it, having the universe. Is a lot more understandable than the others. Oh, I am this guy who just like death. For what reason? No idea. I just love her. Like what? That's not very. That does not make a good villain. It's like no those classic villain. Ah ha 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 ha. I'm evil. I want to destroy everything. That's not very exciting. It's not very interesting.
I see. What about you, Necro?
Okay, when I was watching it in movie theaters with like Kendall, we watched it in full IMAX. I thought it was really good. It was a 4-star movie. But
Yeah.
in retrospect, as you think about it more and more, it's a terrible movie. It hinges on nostalgia. It hinges on emotional blackmail. It's a lot of fan service. It's not a good movie in that sense. If you logically think of
Do you think that this movie has achieved its goal of wrapping up this storyline of the Avengers and Marvel before
I
they
mean-
head on to the next chapter.
It depends on how you look at it. If you look at it as it wraps up the series, then yes, it does wrap up, but it doesn't wrap it up in a good way, in the sense that the ending fight scene is not climactic enough. It was 10 minutes long. There is Suicide Squaded characters away.
It was
and
only 10 minutes long.
It was roughly 10 minutes long. It was really awful.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like in Infinity War, you saw like Doctor Strange fighting Thanos, and it was really cool, right? You see all the glass shards and all that crap. And then in this movie, he literally stands in the corner and fights water for the entire movie. That's it. That's what we waited 10 years for. So we came to see what
I
of
have an
water for
I
that
have an explanation for that.
Alright, okay, I'm curious to
do.
hear that.
It is simply because he's going to get his own sequel lah. That's why he doesn't need to give much screen time. Okay.
Sorry?
Sell
Yeah.
Blu-ray. Sell Blu-ray extended DVD version. I learned this from Lord of the Rings.
what happened in Lord of the Rings?
Okay, that makes sense.
To extend the fight half an hour to 1 hour longer by buying the Blu-ray. Lord of the Rings did that already. Super
Yes.
annoying.
That's what they did.
Really,
There's a chance.
I was never really a fan of Lord of the Rings. I watched the first one, and the other two I was just like, eh. I didn't know that.
The short version of Lord of the Rings is that when it was first released in theaters, it was a long movie. It was still long, but it was
freaking long.
Yes, it was like 3 hours or so, which is long. But when they released the extended version on Blu-ray, one movie took about 4 hours.
Yeah, Return of the King was 4 hours.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch it in 25 and 50 FPS?
50 FPS? No. Lord of the Rings wasn't 50 FPS. It was
right,
The Hobbit that was the high frame rate.
I haven't watched any of the movies yet, but I'll plan it.
Oh. Interesting. So
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings Fellowship is 3 hours and 20 minutes. And Lord of the Rings Two Towers is 3:43, and Return of the King is 4:12. What the hell?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what happened, and I think that it might just do just that.
I see.
I would actually look forward to it if they did it. The extended version of all the fight scenes.
Yeah, I guess that would be quite epic.
But
I mean,
I think the more plausible explanation is that the characters who have sequels will probably get lesser screen time in Endgame.
No, I think the biggest problem is that they don't have the technology to put this out in time. They simply don't have the logistics to have like consecutive fights, like 10 of the characters fighting 10 of the villains, like epic fight with every single person.
Yeah. Actually, you know what the final fight reminded me of? Ready Player One, the final, I guess, fight scene in Ready Player One also had a similar problem. Was that the camera was flying all around the place, and they just couldn't capture enough screen time for like each main character.
Yeah, they mainly showed snippets of each character doing something that was so that showed their identity enough, and then they just moved on.
I mean, I kind of liked the movie the first time I saw it. I thought it was really epic, right?
Which
and
movie?
Then,
Endgame or Ready Player One?
Endgame. Yeah. I thought it was really epic, but the second time I watched it, it felt like a bore, and I actually fell asleep. But let me just ask you guys one question, right, about Captain America. How old is Captain America?
Oh right, I remember this in your letterbox review. You said that you did the math right, and you found out that he was too old in the end.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all. How old is Captain America?
That is time travel for you.
He was 2020 when he was 1942, right?
I don't know. I made the assumption that he was 16, and it turns out that he's 176 years old, including the time he spent under the ice.
Yeah, but you should not include that lah.
Okay, so if I don't include that, he's still 106 years old.
Well,
how do you get 176?
Because I assume he's 16 years old, and then he get trapped under the ice for 70 years, and then the Avengers movie was 10 years long, and then he went back to the past, and you add another 80 years.
Oh,
Yeah, 106 is fine. This is a world with flying spacesuit.
But it's supposed to be set in 2000 and whatever 2019.
The super soldier serum slowed his aging, so you have to consider that as well.
Okay.
His actual age might not be 106, he might be like 80 something. We're not sure.
Kind of sad, don't you think, that he will outlive his wife by a few decades? Like his wife will die and he'll still be.
Well, we
young.
know that she died, right, in the
Yes.
in the
This one's a
earlier
bit confusing,
Captain
lah.
America movie.
It's not might not be the same person, but it's another person. But
There's a different timeline.
Right, her
Timeline.
life might have been different. Yeah,
Yeah.
so her lifestyle might be different. Anyway, let's talk about something that Mala really likes to talk about, which is S, right? So what is with Captain America?
what do you like to talk about?
Yes. Captain
Oh,
America.
I don't see the appeal of his ass. I didn't get the whole joke actually.
Yeah, what was that joke? I didn't get the reference either.
Internet meme.
No
This was an
one.
internet meme.
Oh, there was an internet meme on his ass.
Yeah, the Russell brothers Googled on it, and apparently this comes up a lot. That's why they did it.
But it was so flat. There's nothing.
Yeah, it is.
Do you think the S is just a false beam? It's like just to boost end games.
Of
Like
course,
a marketing campaign?
Yeah, marketing.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
I don't think so. I don't think it's that easy to force a meme. There's this person who tried to force a meme as an experiment. He posted this new template on Reddit and it never took off.
I
The
see. I
baseline
think
is unforced.
well, a while ago we tried to force a meme too, and more on that another time. But we were not successful. Clearly. Anyway, I haven't watched Captain Marvel. I'm sure that you guys have. So, how is she related to this movie actually?
She's not.
She's
not,
an
but
ex machina plot device move on, and she's one of the reasons why I don't really like Endgame.
She is just as about important to this movie as Nick Fury is.
Or as important in this movie as Falcon is.
Falcon is a piece of shit.
What did Falcon do? Now that I think about it, he didn't do anything.
He does nothing.
he does the same in every movie.
He was the reference to the first Captain America movie. No, like the second
Right,
Captain
yeah.
America movie.
That was the only thing.
Yeah, it was just a reference to
If you
Winter
think about
Soldier.
it, right, Falcon is a side character to Captain America movie. And the Captain America movie is a side character in this entire movie. So you have a side character who's so side.
Falcon only survived because Falcon and Winter Soldier are getting their own spin-off series.
Okay. So let's talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier for a moment. The next Captain America thought.
Well, there isn't going to be a next Captain America. I mean, it's probably just like this symbolic handover of
Yeah.
the responsibility. But he isn't going to take on the mantle itself of Captain America. Because
He isn't?
No. He is still going to be Falcon. But it's just super symbolic, like the handover of this legacy to him. That's all.
Yeah, it just means that he thinks Falcon has the thoughts and the spirit of America.
Yeah, Ghost, do you know anything about this?
Which part? The fact that what will Falcon do after this?
Why is Falcon Captain America?
Huh?
Or is he even Captain America?
He was for a moment.
He was randomly, yes, no. The one reason is because he's black.
Yeah, okay. I mean, excluding let's leave the politics out of this. Let's leave the politics out of this.
Marvel
That was my first thought also actually.
Marvel in the era was like that. Secondly, you cannot use Bucky lah.
Oh, why can't you use
The
Russian
assassination?
It's a fucking Russian assassin.
Alright, I didn't think about that. I mean, he's an American soldier first, before he's a Russian assassin.
He defected over to the other side for a while, even though he was under their control.
Okay, sure. I really that didn't cross my mind at all.
It's also secondly, it's because they want to continue Captain America without Captain America, lor. So they're using this. Probably the movie when it comes out is not going to be very interesting either, lah. Unless, because Falcon is not in any major plot until recently, which means it's not actually very.
Yeah, he's a very caliphate character.
He was chosen as Captain America in the comic, but that's after Captain America died. Captain America did not die in this case, so he tried to find out who the heck is the next person. in the same time, DC comic had a similar plot where Batman died, and they were choosing who's the next Batman.
Yeah.
So it was something that both comics were doing.
Who is the best Batman?
Dick Grayson.
All right, I like you. I like Dick Grayson.
No, he's the only obvious choice. The rest are idiots.
Yeah, Dick Grayson is my favorite Batman.
Yeah.
Every
Christian
Robin's an
Bale is
idiot.
mine.
What
Yeah,
about
I
Adam
agree.
West?
Every Robin's an idiot.
Every
Anyhow,
Robin. Yeah.
let's talk about.
Speaking of Batman, have any of you guys watched the Batwoman trailer?
Oh no, what is it
There
about?
is a Batwoman.
The CW one, right?
Yes, there's only one.
Yes.
Wait, yeah.
yeah.
There's only
Ivan,
one.
please explain.
Well, it is basically trying to build upon the fact that Batman is no longer with us. Yay! So we need a new person to, try and save Gotham from the evil baddies. And then this person, who is basically, I'm not sure who exactly she is. I think it's like Commissioner Gordon's daughter or something. I'm not too sure. Oh no, she is Bruce Wayne's
Cousin.
cousin.
That's
So
that's the
so-
usual one, but I'm not sure whether they're doing the same. Oh, it
yeah,
is the cousin.
no. She is. They are making the same thing, which is she is Bruce Wayne's cousin. The crux of the trailer is that she goes around at first just fighting baddies by herself, and for some reason, she decides to take on the identity of someone else because she doesn't want to reveal who she actually is. And then the ending of the trailer shows her basically going into the Batcave, obviously. Then she takes the suit, but the stupid thing is that she says that, can you adjust the suit to fit me? But the guy, I think the butler was saying, oh, but the suit's really perfect. And then she says it would be perfect when it's made to fit a woman.
What?
Oh, that explains the salt.
That
So
sounds
that-
really sexy.
So that was the extremely sexist feminist moment that a lot of people were shitting on.
There's another line that was very funny because it was the woman was saying, I'm not gonna let a man take credit for my work, and then
She
but then he
proceeds
took
to
over the entire Batcave and everything. So she's
Okay.
actually taking credit for Batman's work, but she's criticizing Batman for taking credit for her work.
Okay, let's just have one question for our house. So like, basically, what do you think about Batman?
I don't watch tons of movies about Batman. Actually, I did watch one Batman movie before.
Wait, which movie was it?
Batman vs Superman.
Oh, that is okay. Okay, sure.
It's so bad. It feels like the
I mean,
worst movie ever.
you chose probably the wrong foot to start off with.
Yeah, better choosing the Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
But why was it bad?
Okay, you should watch the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. That was awesome. It's my favorite Batman movie because
I
he has
feel that
people.
I feel that the damn Batman is very plotless. I don't even see where the heck he's going. Was going. So what they share the same mother name, and they go what cathedral, fight over some
that is
guy.
I mean, it's not an
Batman has
origin
cool
movie, so
suit.
it's a bit.
I don't know what the heck was happening back there.
neither do we.
I-
Neither do we, to be honest.
Nobody does.
And I still think, yeah, it was a very terrible movie.
Yeah. So anyway, that movie was probably the worst example of Batman that could come up.
You're better off watching the shark repellent one.
Shark repellent? There's a shark repellent Batman?
You just YouTube it off.
The Adam West one, the very first movie.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Anyway, George Clooney with nipples. Go Google that. Okay.
The
Let's
Necro
talk.
is such a meme lord. He knows all the memes that I reference.
let's talk about this whole social justice, black people and women thing, since we brought that up earlier.
Oh,
So where
no.
do you think?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So where do you think the Marvel universe is going with all these female roles?
I mean, it's not
The-
females anymore. They're
You know
going,
the all female scene in Marvel. Was in Endgame, was a reference to A-Force.
To what? Sorry, A-Force.
Okay.
I tried explaining that last time. It's pointless.
I know it was a reference, but I'm just trying to, bring this up.
The speculation, okay, on the fans, but speculation the fans made was that the Russell brothers or Marvel in the future might make a spin-off, a series, or whatever.
Are the Russo brothers still attached to Marvel?
No one is certain whether they're going to continue making movies or not because they haven't said anything about it.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I mean, I hope they do because so far the track record has been mostly great. But yeah, aside from that, the all-female fight scene in Endgame was supposedly a reference to A-Force, and also, of course, that thing, that people have to hop on about. But it was for like what 30 seconds, and so yeah.
It was really long. It was one of the longer fight sequences.
There's no fight sequence. Oh, you talk about that as a fight sequence? No, it's just because of that. That's why they will not make a movie out of it.
Okay,
It's
it
just-
wasn't a fight sequence. It was an American football sequence. I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So what's the future direction? Are they going to launch, an all-female?
No way.
No way. Why not?
Because their powers don't match.
That is true.
Their powers don't match.
I really didn't think about
It's
that.
very simple. No, it's just a reference. That's why I say it's just a reference. Everyone's making too much noise
Okay.
over it.
I see.
It's not realistic to make anything. They might reference it again the next arc, but they're not going to make a movie out of it.
Mm.
All the writers of Avengers complain about this. All the superpower characters just tips the balance one way.
So what's the next arc about? What if you had to guess?
No one knows.
It's a
If you
bit hard
had to
tell.
guess.
It's hard to guess. It could be.
You see the movie, you see the next
Doctor Doom
movies,
like
you will
this.
know. Yeah. No, I don't think.
Actually, I haven't looked. I'm not really a follower.
No. It probably depends on what Eternals is. So
Okay, I see. Anyway, we are running short on time, so just everybody, what is your top moment in Avengers Endgame?
The entire movie.
Let's start with okay, let's start with Lycando.
The entire movie was my top moment. Okay, moving on.
Okay, the entire movie is perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
What about Necro?
Which movie? Endgame.
Yeah, of course we're talking about Endgame.
Favorite moment. I don't have a favorite moment actually. Not that.
Oh really? So your favorite moment was watching the movie with Lycando?
Yes, and then I secretly moved my hand over and then held his hand.
Oh, so sweet.
So
A
that was
He
romantic
moved at the last
gesture.
moment.
So that was what accidentally stepped in the dark. Okay.
What about you, How?
Oh, I think okay, the movie is great. So I still think it's Iron Man's funeral. So
So you think the funeral was
the scene like on everything else, I still think the scene is still the so because the camera was like moving past, so everybody's every character that was shown in the past movies. I
did
think
you shed a tear?
I mean, I can't cry, so I think it's yeah. If I can share a tear, I will share for that.
I
that part.
did. I would just like to say that I did.
Okay.
Yeah, a few.
I can't cry. That's really funny. What about you, Mala?
When Spider-Man came back and the first person he went to was Iron Man.
Oh yes.
Oh
Yeah,
right, that was
so-
really great. That was really
Yeah,
great.
so it really showed how much of a mentor Iron Man was to him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I would have to say my favorite moment was when Spider-Man was flung across the battlefield.
Oh,
Only that part. Anything that happened after that was terrible,
interesting.
but only that part because I like the imagery of him being swung across. But yeah, what about you, Ghost?
Valkyrie on a horse. Yeah, it's a very good callback.
Yeah, the
Because
imagery. is
she's
very
called Valkyrie for a reason, right? We have not seen. This is why she's called Valkyrie. She has a magic horse. She has a magic pony that she flies on.
Okay. Anyway, let's say this is the end of our little movie / cinema / TV review. Yeah. Bye bye. Stay
Okay.
tuned for more in future.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.